Hey, what is going on everybody? Arte here and welcome back to another Black Ops 2 weapon comparison. In today's video we're going to be comparing the FAL OSW versus the SMR. Now these are of course the two semi-automatic assault rifles, so I personally thought that would make for a pretty interesting comparison, especially considering that these are the two strongest assault rifles in the game and probably one of the most consistent assault rifles as well. Anyway, in this video we're of course going to be comparing things such as the magazine size, the recoil patterns both without the select fire and with the select fire attachment, because the select fire attachment is probably the most popular attachment for both the SMR and the FAL. And then of course at the end of the video I'm also going to be giving you a class setup for both these weapons. Now if you do not like the class setups that I'm going to be showing you in this video, then be sure to head over to my channel, check out my class setups playlist, and there you will find some more class setups for both the SMR and the FAL. Anyway, the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is the magazine size. Now this one of course goes to the FAL because the FAL has 25 bullets regularly and 34 bullets with the extended clip, whilst the SMR comes with 20 bullets regularly and 27 with the extended clip. Now both these weapons have actually a pretty low ammo capacity for the average assault rifle, because usually an assault rifle has 30 to 40, but it doesn't really matter because of course the damage makes up for that. Anyway, next up we're going to be taking a look at the reload speed. Now the FAL once again wins this because the FAL reloads at 2.70 seconds when the gun is empty, so that is when you have to watch the entire animation, and at 2.09 seconds when there are still a few bullets in the clip, whilst the SMR reloads at 3.20 seconds when the gun is empty and at 2.69 seconds when there are still a few bullets in the clip. Anyway, next up we're going to be taking a look at the rate of fire, or the amount of rounds per minute, and this one once again goes to the FAL. Now you gotta of course note that these are semi-automatic rifles, so the amount of rounds per minute might not be the same for everyone. Someone just might be able to shoot a little bit faster than you, so it may be a little bit lower, it may be a little bit higher, but the max amount of rounds per minute for the FAL are 515 and for the SMR are 450. Now they of course did put a cap on that. That is just literally the max amount of bullets that you can fire, just to make sure that people with modded controllers can't shoot like 2000 rounds per minute or something like that. Anyway, next up we're going to be taking a look at the damage. Now simply looking at the numbers, the FAL wins this, but the FAL doesn't really win this, mainly because you gotta look at damage in two different ways. You gotta take a look at damage up close, and you've got to take a look at damage at long range. Now the damage up close of course goes to the FAL. The FAL has a 55 to 40 damage and the SMR has a 50 to 40 damage, but the FAL does have less range than the SMR. Basically the SMR is about 2.5 times more range than the FAL, meaning that you will keep that 2 hit kill potential for a longer period of time. Now because of that the FAL is better up close than the SMR, but the SMR is better at long range. Anyway, next up we're going to be taking a look at the recoil patterns, and we're first off going to be taking a look at the recoil patterns without the select fire. So first off, as you can see on the screen right now, the FAL OSW has practically no recoil without the select fire, or literally no recoil actually without the select fire attachment, whilst the SMR has a little bit of vertical recoil, but I personally don't really see that recoil pattern kick in too much, because you literally need about 5 to 10 bullets to actually kill a person. You don't need to spray that entire clip. Anyway, next up taking a look at the recoil patterns with the select fire attachment, and as you can see on the screen right now, the FAL's recoil increased tremendously. It wobbles around a little bit, it goes up vertically quite a lot, whilst the SMR only increased by a little bit. So I personally have to say that the FAL is better without the select fire attachment, but the SMR is better with the select fire attachment, or at least at long range that is. Anyway, next up we're going to be taking a look at my personal kill death ratio with both these weapons. Now I didn't show this in the previous weapon comparisons, mainly because I just didn't think of it, but I actually thought yesterday that it might in fact be interesting to kind of see with which one of the two weapons I actually play a little bit better. So I first off have 1523 kills with the SMR, 186 headshots, and an accuracy of 26.71%. Now this means that I hit little over 1 out of 4 bullets, and then last but not least of course a kill death ratio of 3.25. Now my overall kill death ratio is 3.10, so I do play a little bit better with the SMR than I do on the regular, especially considering that it only counts gun kills. Now next up for the FAL I have 1980 kills, 252 headshots, an accuracy of 25.55%, and a kill death ratio of 3.86, which is actually pretty damn good if you ask me. Now overall I think it is pretty much safe to say that the FAL is better than the SMR, or at least the FAL is better in most situations than the SMR, but the SMR just is a little bit better at long range than the FAL. Anyway, last but not least we're also going to be taking a look at two different class setups for these weapons, and we're first off going to be taking a look look at the SMR class setup, which is actually a pretty simple one. It's the SMR with the reflex sight and the quick draw handle, wildcards perk 1 greed allowing me to have a second perk 1, and also perk 2 greed allowing me to have a second perk 2. My first two perks are Flak Jacket and Hardline, my two second perks are Toughness and Scavenger, and my third perk is of course Dexterity. Now some of you may like the iron sights for the SMR. I personally don't feel like that they're bad in any way, but I simply use the reflex sight to increase accuracy at long range. Now I said in this video quite a few times that the SMR is pretty good at long range, and I personally feel like that getting long shots is a lot easier when you're using an optic, so I would recommend that. Then of course my FAL class setup, which is also a pretty simple one. This is mainly to like increase power at close range. It's the FAL with the reflex sight. Now I mainly just don't like the iron sights. The select fire to kind of increase accuracy at close range because you don't have to focus on trigger fingering quite a bit. The adjustable stock to go around the corners pretty easily. Perk 1 lightweight, my two second perks are Toughness and Scavenger, and my third perk is Dexterity with of course the wildcards primary gunfighter allowing you to have a third attachment, and also perk 2 greed allowing you to have a second perk 2. Anyway, once again, if you do not like these class setups, then simply head over to my channel, go to playlist, go to my Black Ops 2 class setups playlist, and in that playlist you'll be able to find another SMR class setup and also another FAL class setup. Anyway, that was it for today's weapon comparison. If you enjoyed it, a like rating would of course be very much appreciated. If not, that is of course cool as well. If you'd like me to compare two specific guns in the next one, then simply leave them in the comments down below. With that said, on the screen right now is the video that I posted yesterday, and this is Q&A number 7. If you haven't checked out that video yet and you're of course interested in checking it out, then be sure to do so. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to see some of you next time. Take it easy. I hear the freeze, freeze.